So how this is going to kind of work is that over here, if you guys can kind of make sure there's a space and clear a space or an aisle for people to come up.
So we look forward to hearing what you have to say, and if we can provide information, we're very happy to provide it, and hope this will be a really positive discussion.
For every one Caucasian faculty member, there's at least 8 Caucasian students. But when you look at it for other ethnicities, it's very disproportionate. For example, for every Latino faculty member, there's 47 Latino students.
So I was wondering, just on the basis of some of the things that are said in the mission statement and in the Focus 2016 plan, the 5-year plan for the university, how the administration hopes to produce what they call socially responsible or enlightened students when the administration seems to be willing to openly abandon commitments to education as a good in itself in order to stay afloat in a climate of ruthless competition, when you're willing to turn over the fate of the college to strategies developed by corporate consultants, when you're hard at work recasting students as consumers, when costs at Columbia College reach almost $50,000 a year, all the while most Americans' earnings in the past decades have contracted or remained stagnant, when tuition has increased over 80% over the last decade.
Shouldn't the spending of Columbia's tuition, grant, and donation dollars be decided democratically? Much of that money comes from student tuitions and student loan money, as well as from the Illinois and United States government's both allegedly democratic institutions. Doesn't it make the most sense to continue to extend the democratic process to the allocation of funds? Thank you. My first sentence.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the spending of Columbia's tuition, grant, and donation dollars be decided democratically?
My question goes to something that you just said, Ms. Love, which is that any university needs to be administered, and I think that's right. What Hope just brought up was the fact that there seemed to be a variety of faulty and mismanaged investments on the part of Columbia. For example, the fact that President Carter is making upwards of $600,000 with a $45,000 bonus in 1 year, the same year that staff and faculty were denied basic cost of living wage increases. The construction of a dance hall, the resurfacing of the exterior of 618 Michigan, the constant buying of wacky furniture. All of this seems to be prioritized over things like giving faculty and staff fair wages, like decreasing tuition and fees on students, like opening up labs and resources that are necessary for the development of your students in their professional activities. All of these things seem to me to suggest gross mismanagement and gross misadministration. And
I think prioritization is one of the topics that's here today. I'm hearing a lot of topics, so maybe I should say a little bit more about that, and whether people like it or don't like it. I think any institution is obliged to manage properly, and this is an effort on Columbia's part to really take a look at who we are. This is a time, it's not prioritization, that unfortunately, we don't want people to not have to get their courses. It's great if enrollment keeps growing and we keep having more and more sections. That is a win-win all around. There's no question about that. We're not in that situation. Our enrollment's gone down for the past couple of years, and that means fewer sections, and unfortunately that means fewer teaching opportunities for the part-timers. That is not our goal, believe me. And that's not what prioritization is about. Prioritization is about, in a time when resources are getting fewer, of really looking very hard at what we need to do as an institution. What is our core mission? And to look at everything together and make some decisions about, what we may have taken on that was more than we can now afford. So it's really proper management, which every organization needs to do.
There was also an email sent out by a specific faculty member, John Morrison, about Diana Valero, president of the PFAC union. This was sent to, if I got my information correct in this was sent to all faculty and staff at the school. And I just wanted to highlight that a lot of the content of this email actually violates the Columbia's email usage and protection policy, some things that he said could have definitely qualify as being a personal attack on Diana.
It was forwarded around. If that may be a violation of the email policy, that, this was also recent. We will look into that and see if that was. But I didn't want you to think that he had some access that anyone else didn't have, because that's not.
Well, there's some part-time yes men that were able to do it. That's kind of right.
It was sent out
Well,
on an individual basis. It was
yeah.
individual emails, wasn't a fact.
Certain
we had no-
part-timers were
but-
allowed to do it, apparently.
But in time it was sent
Why was that used in the last?
Yeah, we truly don't know how
Yeah.
the lists were, but I'm just saying that there wasn't any access that was denied by the administration to anyone else that individual had. We do value activism in a good cause, activism from principal, which I think we're seeing here from many schools around the area, and that's important. We encourage that. We encourage positive dialogue, which I think we've had almost entirely in this session so far. And I think that that's something that all of us need to model for students. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're passionate about things. Certainly encourage you to think critically about issues that you espouse and then take a stand for them. So that's something that Columbia is all about. So we're proud that you're here. We're proud that you're here.
It's simply to mirror the interests of the market and its magnets. To attract even more consumers. To align itself with the vicious logic of endless profit. We reject the blackmail that there is any financial crisis at this institution.